So for this art challenge, I'm looking at oil pastels again, but this time I'm going to try using white spirit to blend the pastels together. White spirit is a paint thinner, it's a solvent, so you do have to be over 18 to buy it in the UK. I'm not sure about other countries. And it's fairly inexpensive. I think what is about £3. So I'm not going to show you the whole drawing process today, but what I did first was I drew an impression of some abbey ruins, and I just slapped the colour on as I would if I was just using the oil pastels normally. I didn't use my fingers for blending, I just let the colours blend themselves. Now I didn't know what sort of paintbrush to use, and I didn't know how much white spirit to use, so this was really an experimental process for me. I didn't want to pour the white spirit into any of my paint palettes, so I just found an old gravy tub lid and I poured a little bit of the white spirit into it, and then I used that to apply with an old paintbrush. It really does thin the oil pastel quite a lot actually. As I was blending it in, I found it was almost brushing the oil pastel off the page, especially in the areas where the coverage of the oil pastel was a lot less. So I was quite undecided at this point, and I thought that it would probably be a good idea to retry this challenge on something simple. And my simple go-to thing to draw when I'm trying a new art material that I've never used before is an apple. So I went ahead and I did an apple, and I made sure that I had quite thick coverage of colours. I kept scrubbing the oil pastels on until I thought that they were very thick, and when they start getting thick they blend less, I've found. So once I was happy with the coverage, I just repeated the process of putting a little bit of white spirit in the top of this plastic lid, and I started brushing gently with the fine brush over the oil pastels. What I found is that the white spirit will drag the colour quite a long way along the page, and it might be a good idea to actually wipe the brush in between, like if you're swapping areas. Because when I did a light area and then moved to the darker area, I was bringing the light colour, the light oil pastel, down into the dark areas, which was actually quite effective for blending the colours in together. But I did find that wherever I put the paintbrush first, that was the colour I was going to drag down. So if I wanted to bring a colour back up, I put some more white spirit on and then brushed the paintbrush back up. So in conclusion, using the white spirit with the oil pastels, it's a lot easier to blend the pastels than it is using your fingertips. I don't like using my fingertips. It's not that I don't like getting dirty fingers, it's just that I find that you've then got to keep washing your hands, and that can dry your hands out. So when I first started using the oil pastels, I really liked that kind of rustic effect, and I still do in many ways. But having drawn an apple, which is one of the simplest things to draw, you can't really go wrong with it, I quite like the way that these blend with the white spirit as well. To touch them, they don't feel quite as sticky or tacky as the ones without the white spirit. The ones without the white spirit on them still have a very, very waxy coating on them, which even after several weeks after drawing them is still there. Whereas the one that I've blended with the white spirit is an awful lot smoother to the touch. There's a very slight waxy coating to it, but overall it does look more like a painting than oil pastels. This is something that I'm going to continue working with over the next few months. I like oil pastels, I like the roughness of them, but I actually think that if you don't want to carry around a full set of paints with you, but you want to do some sort of painting, that these might be ideal with a little bit of white spirit. So yeah, I'm going to think of some more things that I can draw over the next few months, and I will publish them up in either my crafty updates or as full process videos on a Sunday, and we'll see where it takes us. So I've already mentioned that white spirit in this country, the UK, you have to be over 18 to buy it. It is a solvent for paint, but it's also highly flammable, so please don't use it near any candles. I know a lot of people like to draw with a scented candle nearby. Make sure that you wash your brushes and all your equipment safely as well. And there's probably all kinds of other health and safety information that I should mention, but all I'm going to say now is read the bottle. So yeah, I really like this technique actually. I was undecided after I did the Abbey ruins, but seeing it on an apple makes a big difference. So the Abbey ruins, I could never get any detail in those. They were just a sketch really. And whereas the apple, you're focusing more on the curve and the shading. And it was very easy to brush the oil pastels when the paintbrush was loaded with white spirit to keep those curves going in the right direction. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have a think about what else that I can draw using this technique, and I'll probably flip between using the white spirit and not using the white spirit. So if you want to keep up with my progress, do make sure that you're subscribed. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you've got any questions at all, do leave them in the comments below, and do let me know if you've tried this process yourself or if you've used a different paint thinner on your drawing. I'd be very interested to know, and it would be a nice thing to try maybe in the future. Do give me a thumbs up if you've made it this far. Your support is genuinely gratefully received, and it really does help keep me going, and I hope to catch up with you all very soon.